What is going on? So this is Rob, aka K5CHA. Today we're going to be talking about true SDX and FT8, and specifically using the FT8CN app. And we're going to go ahead and use a brand new mode using the beta firmware that DL2MAN had created alongside Guido's driver for Windows, but we're going to be using Android specifically. So we're not going to need that driver and we'll be that much more mobile. All right, so here is the true SDX radio with the beta firmware update that allows CAT control as well as audio over USB. And so we're going to set that up here. We already have the beta version of the firmware uploaded to the radio. We have an Android device here that has FT8CN, which is a free open source Android app for FT8. It both sends and receives. Right now, I'm not hooked up to our antenna, but we'll take it over to the shack and hook it up and get some receives and transmit going. But first, we're going to take this setup. As you see, there's just a USB cable. I'm using a hub just since I don't have a micro USB to USB-C. I'm using this hub as the OTG host, and as you can see, the radio is already powered up here. I'm going to go ahead and just open up the Android device. When you plug it in, Android will ask you if you want to connect to a particular app. When we plug in this USB, it detects it automatically. So if we go ahead and unplug this, plug it back in, we should get prompted here. FT8CN. Just once for this time. And here it's going to ask us for a serial port, and there's just one listed, so we'll go ahead and select it. And rig connection successful, current frequency. It also means that we can change frequencies here. Let's go to 14.090, which is also on 20 meter. And as we change that, it also changed here. And as we'll see here in a second, when we hook up to the antenna, we are going to receive signal and be decoding them on the screen all through a USB connection, which makes this super portable for SOTA or POTA activations, seeing as I'm using a QRP lower powered rig here. But this is exactly perfect for those scenarios. So let's go hook up the antenna and we'll continue this demo. Okay, so we also wanted to go ahead and check out the settings for the rig control. So you need to set up your call sign and all those things, but we're going to switch to CAT control over USB, change the baud rate and the radio selection so that it's all correct here. Have some stuff set up for CQ and auto track CQ. But otherwise, pretty straightforward settings, just the radio setup and the baud rate. And you should be good to go from there. All right, so now that we have the radio and the antenna hooked up, as you can see, we're starting to get some actual contacts coming in. I don't have the best antenna set up at the moment, so we're not receiving a ton, but as you can see, they are coming through. And then we can also use CAT control with FT8CN in order to transmit and track one of the CQs, see if we can get a response if our signal is propagating out there. Here, we're just going to attempt a few transmits and see if anybody hears us. But like I said, the antenna isn't the best right now, so we'll probably just go ahead and wrap this up and conclude this video. But this was a cool example of using the true SDX radio along with your Android device, specifically with FT8CN and the beta firmware that allows us to do CAT and audio control over a USB. One note is you definitely want to use an external power supply, as over USB it can only do about 0.5 watts, but it's enough to get the radio up and running. But I also hooked it up to an external power supply at about 13 volts that was able to give it enough power to get up to its max of about 5 watts max, but also with my antenna and SWR was running a little lower than that. But that is all for now.